Did you have a good lunch? Was it good? Yeah? Okay. Okay, so we'll start again. I can't believe we're almost on time. Believable. We have 2 parallel sessions again, so it's going to be a tough choice. As I said just before the break, in the breakout room, just opposite, for those who have not been to a breakout room yet, we have the Chrome extensions session. And just to promote this session, I was a bit surprised because I think in one of my quizzes for the registration, there was something about Chrome extensions, right? And there was actually a few people who got all the answers correct, because you can do everything which was on the form, like, you know, open and close tabs in Windows, play audio, change the background of Google to black. So if you're interested to know more of all the kind of things you can do with the Chrome extensions, please go to the session next door. It will be much more technical, I think, than the session here, which will be a panel discussion with 3 external speakers and a Google product manager. All right? So take 30 seconds to come in or come out. I'll go out to the breakout room. Yeah? Made your choice? Again, everything will be recorded. Presentations will be online, code, everything. So you're not missing too much, hopefully. All right? Okay. So on this stage, I'd like to welcome 4 people, as I said. So let me, because I know some of them personally. I've met them when I was in Amman 2 months ago. So we have the founder, I forgot already. Probably the founder of GJordan. We have the co-founder of Karabish. Yeah? Did I pronounce correctly? Sorry, my Arabic is terrible. You've noticed this. And we have a guru, a technologist, and we have a Google product manager. So please welcome on stage, in the order I've mentioned. So co-founder or founder of GJordan, CEO, Omar Kutsi. Welcome. Wael Attili from Karabish. Yeah? Thank you. Amar, the PHP guru, technologist, multi-hat guy, and Abdel Karim Maldini from Google. Whoa, many fans in the room. Okay. Do we have mics? Could we have microphones for the... Because otherwise I'm not going to do the questions and answers for everyone. Okay, if we could have another mic if possible. Thank you. Here you go. So the way I'd like this session to go is maybe I'll let them introduce themselves just for in 1 or 2 sentences, if you don't mind. Then I will ask a few questions just to get the discussion started. And if you have any questions, we'll let the floor open for about half an hour, 35 minutes for questions, because usually people have tons of questions, so I hope you will have too. And I will not talk for too long so that you get the chance to ask the questions or interact with our panel. So, Omar, do you want to start and give a few words about yourself?
Sure. Thanks, Sebastian. I'm Omar Kutsi, co-founder and CEO of GJordan. GJordan, we started off offering websites, blogs, and recently we moved to a more hyper-local model of going after places.
Ammar Ibrahim, currently serving as the CTO of Al Bawaba and co-founded Indimash Technology and Aswaq.com. And yeah, that's about it.
Abdelkarim Mardini, currently product manager at Google, focusing on Middle East and North Africa specifically. I've been at Google for a year. Before that, I co-founded my own open source based web development company in Egypt for about 4 or 5 years, and I'm very, very happy and excited to be among you, and I hope we can come more often to Amman, and Amman can treat us with better weather.
Hi, my name is Wael Attili. I'm a co-founder of Karabish and other startups. At Karabish, we develop mini cartoon shows for mobile and web. I come from a creative background and not development background. And hopefully we can share a nice discussion now about, you know, ideas and other interesting stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. I think the goal here is really to get you galvanized, hopefully, to see that the value of prototyping, going from the actual idea and crazy ideas that you may have to actually doing something, right? Not fearing failure or trying things. I'd like to, maybe Wael, you can start, as you just were talking about, how do you get your ideas? Where do they come from?
Well, basically, I can start with the story that happened to us. We established, Kharabish is part of Think Arabia. It's an incubator that we founded, 5 partners, self-funded. So one of the issues that we faced is basically cash flow.
Right.
When you start your own business, the major thing that you always face is cash flow and how money goes in and out into your company. So we wanted to create a script or some sort of a simple program that tells us how can I manage or view our cash flow. So we looked up into the internet looking for similar product. Everything is very complicated. All are based on accounting systems that we cannot understand. We came from different backgrounds. We don't understand accounting. It's very complicated for us. So we just wanted a very simple, kind of an Excel sheet that is automated where we can, take a look to our cash flow. Then we started developing this product. And then suddenly we figure out, if we need it, or maybe other people, entrepreneurs, startup, freelancer might need this product as well. So we developed this into a product, web product called CashPad. During the process, we found that there are similar applications on the web. So it made us a little bit disappointed, but we looked at these products and we figured out that no, it's completely different of what we have.
So you actually started from a personal need. You needed this, you actually prototyped it.
Yes, and then it developed into a product at the end of the day. What I want to say is that you might start with a simple idea, but a great idea is a result of a process, a result of hard work and process and let's say study. Right.
So Omar, maybe do you want to talk about this? How do you come up with GJordan? Was it also an iteration process? Did you try multiple things before? How does this work?
Sure, we're still trying a lot of things. I mean, it's just really never ending. When we started late 90s, there was a lot of web things happening. So we thought we have to do something that is different than what's out there. Many of the sites were trying to just be a portal for everyone. So we thought we'd build a website that helps people create content. We could relate to that. And just like Wael was saying, you have to try to solve a problem that's for you. So we've used a site that's called GeoCities when we started to build our own website. So that solved the problem for us. So we thought this is what we want to do, kind of in a way.
Amar, do you want to share some ideas about how do you select your own ideas? Which one do you reject and why?
Well, I generally reject, for the size of our business and the size of projects we deal with, I generally reject ideas that are way too big.
How do you know they're too big? Okay. Too ambitious, or
okay,
how do you know?
Too big could mean multiple things, exactly. One thing is too ambitious or trying to solve 10 different problems.
So focusing.
Absolutely. Focus is key. There's so many examples today that, there's so many, like Facebook, there were hundreds of sites or tens of sites before it. Facebook did one thing and did it very well. Google search did one thing, did it very well. So focus is definitely key. Most likely sometimes young entrepreneurs, one of the biggest problems they try to do is they try to copy every successful model out there and put it in one product. And this is, by definition, very messy, and it kind of propagates across the entire process. So it's not only the idea is too big and not focused. This is an engineering nightmare. This is also a design nightmare. So you're creating a big nightmare. So generally, this is what I would reject.
Okay. Madini, do you want to share how at Google we actually select or reject ideas? Around 20% time. I don't know, just to give a sense of how this is working in a company.
Yeah, so back to Ammar's point, which he put it very eloquently. We focus on one thing, and we did it well. That was search at the very beginning. And then in all of the other products that may seem to you sometimes, why is Google getting into this? Why is Google getting into that? But we actually have very focused areas that are complementing each other. When we focus on mobile, for instance, or when we focus on a YouTube-like product that is based on UGC, we are always trying to, at the end of the day, focus on the user. So when it comes to Google, we always say we put the user first. And this is how you should think of any product. If this one idea will make an incremental improvement in the user experience, then it must be worth it, and we can entertain it, whether it is currently part of the roadmap or it's not part of the roadmap.
So if I summarize, it's also, so coming from a need could be a useful way to actually come up with a product. Think about the user,
because we're
iterate.
Because we're talking about Google now. I can talk a little bit also from the ex-Google days, but from Google we already have a significant user base, and you need to listen to them. So if you're like GJordan, where you already have a site and it's up and running, you need to interact with the users, see what their needs are, detect what's working and what's not working, and also in the true open source spirit, launch early and launch often to try out as much as you can. At Google, as you know, if you're following any of our technical blogs, we try to do that all the time. At least you'll have a new feature or a new launch every 2 weeks.
Well, what were your biggest mistakes on the road? Because I guess it's not always like a clear path. It's not always easy. So
my biggest mistake is that I lose passion for some ideas. I've launched so many ideas, but my biggest mistake is that once I did this idea, I lose passion or interest, or I stop, or I presume that this idea is so great that it will have its own success by itself. So I don't work anymore on it. So what makes a great idea is basically us or you, and continue working on it.
Right. An idea is not enough. Execution is key.
It's a continuous development process. Never think that by just having a nice idea or great idea, it will have its own success, or people will adopt it, or people will start using it. There's a hard work after you develop this product, and it's a continuous process. Never lose faith and never lose passion of what you do.
So it's interesting points. Omar, do you have any personal experiences in terms of biggest wastes of time or money into trying to develop a feature or a product?
Sure, you can put your head in the sand and assume that you're developing something important, but you have to see the metrics, tying the 2 points together. I think one of the mistakes we did at GJordan is just not being metrics driven enough. Now we have a saying, nobody has an opinion in the company. The numbers say everything. Whether it's something that's good or bad, you let the users decide. You look at the metrics, and then it speaks for itself. So whether you want to develop something that's really big or really small, you just start in small chunks and see how people react. We've just started to implement something internally where we only do 4-day sprints. If it's, we don't care how complicated it is, just do the first thing in 4 days maximum, even if it's a, sub-alpha, but we have to see how people react to it. And it ties together to what Wael was saying. When you try to, build something and you put so much effort into it, and you're not even seeing if users like it or not, I think we tend to lose interest and not even know, because you're not like really seeing the results of what you're doing. And these days there's not really an excuse. I mean, 10 years ago, we've spent a month and a half researching the server purchase. Today it's an API call, right?
Right.
So it's really easy for anybody, much easier than it was for us, I guess, back in the day to start these things.
Interesting. Amar, I just forgot my question. Do you want to talk about same topic, or maybe, I found it again, because it's linked to what you said and Wael just said as well. Maybe it's going to be my last question, and then you can ask questions, but how do you find the passion to start over and over again? Because when you get failures, it's like, it's discouraging. You have to start again, but I don't want to do it. It's like, why this one is going to succeed or fail? So how do you, where do you find your passion, your interest in doing it again?
Okay, that's actually a very, very, very interesting question because this is the thing that I keep thinking to myself: why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why don't I just go for an easy thing and just let things go? My answer is probably going to shock you. The way I think about it, it got to me like sort of 2-3 years ago. I always put myself in a hypothetical interview a year ahead of today and think, okay, that person is going to ask me, what did you do last year? Okay, I want to have at least one good thing that I did during this year. So I don't want to allow myself to be next year where I am today. I just, spent countless hours doing boring stuff and not following my passion. So failure, it comes to me that it's something that is part of, doing the right thing. You always fail. The faster you fail, the faster you're going to succeed, right? So it's a very simple task. I put myself like 2-3 years ahead. Okay, somebody's going to be interviewing me, okay, hypothetically, and they're asking me, what did you do the past 2-3 years? And I need to have a very good answer. So this keeps regenerating my passion and like giving me, the energy to work harder, even if, things are not looking very well.
It's a very useful tip, to put yourself in a forward perspective. Do we have any questions? I don't want to do the talking here. Mugs for, oh, good. Can we have a microphone? I'm waiting. Wait for the microphone before you talk. Do we have a microphone for the... No?
My question is perhaps a local one. How do you guys view the local ecosystem, as the word's been thrown around a lot? And how do you see, all these entrepreneurship stuff that's been going on, is it working? Is it going to help people make more ideas into products? If somebody with enough passion would go into it and pull his full dedication, do you think he'll find enough help in investors or anything?
So locally, right?
Yeah, in Jordan.
In Jordan. Sure, please do.
Okay, I was going to save this...
Maybe you can rephrase the question so that everyone can hear.
Okay, Hamad was asking, how do you sort of, see the current entrepreneurship, I would say hype, and all the, things that are happening around the ecosystem. Okay, I was going to save this slogan for tomorrow. Been thinking about it over the weekend. So my slogan is, entrepreneurship is not cool, okay? Entrepreneurship, okay, is a real path that one needs to follow. Right? So it's not, there are so many people who do it because they want, tend to be cool, okay, or they like, to, for all the stuff that is not important. Now, locally, I have to say that there's so many interesting events, and there are some events that are probably not worth, our time. The main issue that is, kind of annoying is that the message that is being distributed sometimes is the wrong message. Entrepreneurship does not mean leave your job, open a business, and then you're an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur can be anywhere, in your job, in a different job. You can be an entrepreneur in your community. You can be an entrepreneur, an open source entrepreneur. There's so many levels of entrepreneurship. The ecosystem in Jordan is developing at a very, very, very fast rate, and I don't know if everybody agrees, and this is absolutely excellent. The only disconnection that hopefully we will work on to solve is the disconnection with universities. Academia is still very, very far from businesses and private businesses. We need why don't we I don't want to say copy the model, adapt a model where successful private companies put back and just put at least feedback, design courses with universities, do these things. We need to bring academia together back with businesses. And I think this will also enhance the ecosystem in Jordan.
So I have also a comment, being a non-Jordanian and looking at things from outside. I worked with a couple of Jordanian companies throughout the last 5 or 6 years, and I'm a very close observer of what's happening. I would like to say that Jordan has an advantage that it's very small. So the community is very well connected. The community, at least that's my perspective, feel free to disagree with me, is definitely friendlier, meaning that entrepreneurs or web developers help each other. They meet up. There is a kind of a quasi-mentorship being formed by successful Jordanian entrepreneurs who are a bit older, who maybe are trying to talk back to the young budding business owners or whatever. So this is my view. The other view is the fact that Jordan also is very good when it comes to addressing the bigger than Jordan aspect, because it's so small. Most sites that are pan-Arab actually came out of Jordan. If you think about GJordan, about Maktoub, about other, the big buzz, Watwit, Ikbis, Akhtabut, all of these things are known outside of Jordan and have an appeal outside of Jordan. In Egypt, for instance, because the market is so big, if somebody wants to start a company in Egypt, they say, okay, I have 80 million to deal with. Let me sort this out first. So I think this is something that يعني دي حاجة بتميز الأردن عن دول تانية. الحاجة اللي أنا أحب أشوفها أكتر. Sorry, but
if everyone understands, it's fine. It's not for me. Everyone understands? Yeah. Okay.
So
I'll use Google Translate and try to.
Don't. We know it's not going to work with Egyptian. So what I would like to see more, as Ammar said, is the fact that being an entrepreneur is get over the hype, all the different events that are happening, the funding. You have an idea, keep your full-time job if you want to, work on it on weekends, have passion, work on it on evenings. Not necessarily think about how to get the money first. First, think of the real need, have passion to solve it, get a bunch of users using the application, and then you have an excellent story to tell to any prospective VC.
And about funding, tomorrow, I don't know if we'll have any free seats, but tomorrow we'll have some investors around. So we can focus on the funding aspect for those who are invited tomorrow, for those who want to try to come. So here it was more about get started to do something. Even if it doesn't work, right? Let's focus on the money aspect afterwards. But feel free to ask any question. They have a lot of experience. Any other question? And did you have your mug? I forgot to mention that you deserve a mug, right? For this gentleman. Question here. And a mug for this person who's daring to ask a question to our panelists.
You spoke of focusing, but if you have a big idea, like you support they say that think big and start small. Well, sometimes if you start small, it's not gonna be interesting. So how do you draw the line and know that so you would not get carried away?
Who wants to answer this? Omar?
I think this is a good question. How do you balance between being focused enough and thinking big? If I get your question right, is what you have to think of is you have to focus on success. You have to be successful. To be successful, you have to start in small chunks. If you look at many of the big companies, the way they started, they started completely different. Look at PayPal. What they started with is just completely different. So focus on what will make you successful, even if it's a small success in the shortest amount of time. This will, give you confidence, allow you to tinker with the product more, show it to more people, show it to more VCs. So you have to, your big idea, you have to kind of make it in a way so you can start small, make small wins, and build success upon success. This is the challenge. It's not easy sometimes when you think of something really big, but when you're a programmer, I was a programmer, your mind plays tricks on you and it starts telling you, I have to code for 6 months because I want to hide behind the code because this is my comfort zone. But no, you probably have to just code for like a month and a half, and you have to, market, you have to do these things. So just focus on having market success. This is how I would orient my product.
Well, first, allow me to intervene. Having a small idea and focused idea does not mean it's not being interesting for some other people. This is number one. Number two, staging could be a good solution. You can stage your project into stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. have a good plan and work, because when you start, you usually start with a small team or maybe a few, 3 partners, or maybe individually. So, staging your idea is a good way, to keep thinking, opening the possibility for a bigger plan, but starting with a focused, planned way. And also remember that your idea might change and alter and evolve along the way. So you need to keep a room for this, and you need to be organic in the way you think, not think linear. If this does not work, then stage 2 will not work. Be organic, be flexible of how you grow and think.
Okay. I think, so were you asking a question before? Yeah, there was someone else raising a hand. No, so you please ask the question now. We'll wait for the mic, and you get a mug. Did you get your, who was asking? You didn't get a mug? Okay, we need to give mugs to people who ask questions. So this gentleman here deserves one. You can have a mug here.
Okay,
there's someone asking a question. Yeah, you after.
Thanks for all that they told us about their history of succeed, yes? And everyone, they tell us a story from his side. But if there a small gift from Google to make a website for all these stories to be at the one website, to let all go there and know more information. And they can, how to say, can they help us if we have a new idea? Can they help us to improve it? Can they help us if we will make a deal? We will make a business, for example, in percentage or something like that. Can they make this? The questions are, did you have all a website for all of your history or stories of succeed? If Google can make a small gift to let all these stories online.
Yeah, so if I understand correctly the question, you'd like to hear more about the stories and publish this on the website, and ideally have them answer maybe some of the questions you may have on your ideas, and start the conversation, right? So in terms of creating a website, I can certainly do something if you're keen to have me write something about what you did and share links and everything. I'm ready to take the action item. I will do this. On the second aspect, I don't know, it's up to you. We can certainly create I don't know, some kind of Google moderator, Google group, where from time to time, once per month, we review maybe the top 10 questions, and maybe we can have a quick call together, and then maybe we respond as a collective group. I don't know. It's up to you.
Yeah, and I think
You're from Google. You don't count. I'm not. You're the same as me.
So, I think some efforts around exactly what you're describing are already underway in the Arab region with the multiple entrepreneurship initiatives, whether ArabNet, if you've heard of it, Yalla Startup, MIT, Wanda, exactly. Wanda is Abraj, yes, thing. Yeah. So we have been talking to all of these people, and one of our real, very crisp objectives in the Arab world this coming period is to be more engaged with the ecosystem, be more engaged with entrepreneurs, and as you know, Google is more of an enabler. So, like for instance, we will not go and create a website that has good content, but we will create the tool for people to create content, whether that content is good or bad. Now it's up to the people. Similarly, Google is not in the business of going and telling people what to do, but we can definitely fund the local initiatives that are trying to do something like that. So Sebastian's idea is good, definitely, and I think we already will start seeing some of that happening.
Yeah, let me have some time in terms of how we can have something work, because we don't want to recreate something new, right? There's tons of business plan competitions. No point in having Google, doing something separate. So the idea is really to partner with existing initiatives. So let me think about how we can do this.
Google is actually sponsoring business plan competitions in the region. Sorry, I was
already
going to say, Google is actually already sponsoring business plan competitions in the region. They, I think, sponsored the Queen Rania Center of Entrepreneurship's business plan competition the year before 2 years, the one Dr. Lasem won, I think. Yeah, so I mean, in that sense, Google is actually pretty active.
Yeah, and like we're a sponsor of ArabNet. We sponsored the hackathon last year in Beirut. What I want to go back and say that it's not only important to share stories of success. It's very, very important, in my opinion, to share stories of failure. And I have a lot of those too. So because they're as important.
Well, basically, we help in a way that each one of us might help in a different way and in a different time. So, for example, as a mini cartoon show production house, we started a show called The Adventure of the Mini Entrepreneur, or مغامرات الانتربرنور الصغير, which is like, telling our stories that is happening to us and share our exact, experiences in a format of a very like sarcastic.
So what's the website?
It is a web show. It is a web show on YouTube and on wamda.com where you can.
And the name is, so that everyone.
The Adventure of the Mini Entrepreneur, or مغامرات الانتربرنور الصغير. It's both in Arabic and English.
Cool.
Where we share, some of the stories that we face at early stages and how we come up with the idea, how we became entrepreneurs, what is the challenges that we face, from government to big corporation to having our first invoice, trying to print a template of an invoice.
Has anyone seen the web show? Hands up. Oh, quite a few. Okay, good. Oh.
So this is our way of
of sharing your experiences. Cool.
Just a small comment. Don't waste your time on business plan competitions. Please.
You had a question, right?
Never make your first invoice number 1 and give it to the client.
Did you have a question? You can speak Arabic if you want. If everyone understands, I don't mind.
Okay. All of you have been in many startups. How you manage to have a team or resources to get your idea up and running? This is the first part. The second part, what you do when you lose your passion for your idea? Thanks.
Okay, so how to get a team? What do you do when you lose your passion? How do you get a team? Who wants to answer that question?
So I can start while
wearing
my non-Google hat. In my case, my biggest passion as a person, as an individual, was open source. I had worked as a software developer for 6 years in the US with all the Microsoft technologies you can imagine, starting from Win32, Ole, all the way to ActiveX and COM and COM Plus and all of that, ending with .NET. I came back to Egypt and I said, okay, screw that. I'm gonna start from the scratch. And this was my biggest passion, to promote open source to Egyptian developers and hopefully Arab developers in the larger sense.
So how do you get a team?
So my team were people who shared that vision. They were most of my.
So practically, how did you find them? Did you talk to friends? Did you put an ad on Google?
I didn't put an ad. In our case, it was a very closely knit community of Linux and.
Okay, so reach out to the Linux user group.
Linux user group. My first system administrator, I found him on I posted a question on Debian Usenet group, and then I found a guy answering with an Arab name. I was like, "Where the hell are you?" He told me I'm in Cairo. No, it was called Ramis Hanna. So who's now in Helsinki, still working with Nokia, still working on open source. So I think you really don't need a big team. This is one thing I also want to mention from idea to product, that sometimes you start with a product idea and then you start seeing business trickling in because somebody wants you to do work for them and you know that this work will get you money. So I say, okay, I'm going to put my product idea on the back burner for a while because this project will get me $5,000 or $10,000. And then you do a good job because you're good and you're passionate about what you do. So you get another project, and you say, oh my God, but this is a much bigger client. I need to hire 2 more software developers. So you hire them, they're on your payroll. Now you have a monster that you need to feed every month. And then you end up like, but I started this to have my product, and now I'm a services company. So this is a very important point about focus. Give yourself a time limit, be passionate about your idea, and do it. People will join you. In the case of Jordan, if you're asking what will make somebody, and correct me if I'm not phrasing your question correctly. What will make somebody quit his full-time stable job with a big multinational and come work with me? Is this the question? Yeah, he needs to find people. For him, it's actually better to find somebody who's passionate about the idea, who loves it, who believes in it, that wants to work with him, than telling, I'm going to give you, 700 JD if you do this. This is really I think, especially at the early stage, when you want a lot of passion, you want a lot of energy, you want a lot of dynamism, you need somebody who's not with you for the money. He's with you because he shares your vision and passion.
I think about not losing the passion, it was answered a bit before when you said put yourself in forward perspective. So.
Yes, and I just want to add one thing. The moment you lose your passion, I think the only thing to do is to change what you're doing. There's a big difference between losing energy and losing passion. If you lose energy, energy can be regenerated. It happens to everybody. It's like a writer's block, right? But if you lose your passion, okay, like for example, I mean, back in the day, I did one of my possibly worst ideas. I wanted to start a magazine. Okay, and then after a year, I was like, okay, seriously, what the hell is this? I mean, I really don't like what I'm doing. So basically, we shut down and we went on to something else. I mean, I don't know if that's the right answer, but I mean, this is what I think personally about it.
I think you had a question, so, and then the person at the back with a yellow shirt who has been waiting, please. And a mug for everyone who asks a question gets a mug. Okay? Thank you.
I don't think his mic is working.
Can we put the microphone? Yep.
I have a quick question. What business model are you working on in terms of your ideas? And is advertising big enough in the region to cover your costs? And another question, where do you think, if next year you're sitting here, where do you think the industry is going?
Okay, I think the best person to talk about advertising is Omar.
Advertising is pretty tough. It's a question of how you manage your cash flow. The online advertising world is not efficient in the Arab world, meaning that if you get the traffic, you're not going to get the money. You have to be connected to the online the advertising market. So. Don't build a business model that assumes it's very easy to make millions of online advertising in the first couple of years, because it is very tough. But it's increasing. This is the first time we exceed, I think, 2% of total spend in the region to online advertising. The question is, can you build a model that finds other sources of revenue? I think you build the product, build the revenue stream within the product. This is, I think, very beneficial, because also you solve two problems at the same time. You solve a cash flow issue, and you solve viability of the business. Because if somebody is willing to pay for your service, that means that yes, people do like your product, and it's much easier for you to raise money and convince people to like your product. I think a year from now, 2011 is going to be quite exciting. I see local becoming really a big trend. Many e-commerce is going to pick up. Credit card people are becoming much more comfortable with credit cards and other forms of payment. I think this year we're going to see the year where the internet affects our offline lives. It's not just about Facebook, blogs, videos, and that sort of things. 2011 is the year where you're going to be seeing the internet affects your offline decisions.
Well, okay, basically what we develop is we develop intellectual properties. What we do is we produce animation cartoons, which is our product, which you can monetize it in many different ways. One of them is you can sell as to these kind of content, or you can sell license or manage IP. We have our own challenges as well, because in terms of creative challenges or in terms of business challenges. One is basically the market. If we talk about the Jordanian market, it's too small, so we're now working on a more regional level, and we think maybe we can go global. On the other hand, advertising is still inside, web and mobile, still working on very old models that we are trying to come up with new advertising models. Plus, people in the Arab world they like to consume content in a free way. So we're thinking of how selling licenses, and it's a bit of a very dynamic, changing kind of industry that we're facing. But what I want to say is that each one of you guys have the chance to go global from his home. This is something that we did not have years ago. Now with the app stores, with the mobile technologies, with the internet, you can create a product that can sell for the rest of the world directly from your home. We didn't see this years ago when we started. So I think there is a big chance that we can create product that we can sell to bigger markets from here.
One last question for the person with the yellow jersey. Yeah.
Okay. If you have an idea that you think is very good, do you think it's a good idea to share this product with other people? I mean, before you develop it, you go and share your idea with other people. Now, if you do that, you'll get input, but you might, be afraid that those people might steal your idea. So how do you balance? How do you, mix and match?
Have you seen The Social Network?
No. No, not yet.
The movie?
No.
Okay, so it's personally, I mean, please disagree with me, but I think the execution of the idea and the passion about the idea is really what matters. So I wouldn't, as somebody who, I sat with so many people who had ideas, and I had my own company at the time, and I had developers, and I had the ability to go execute on the idea. It really never crossed my mind to actually, say, oh, wow, this is a good idea. I'm going to leave everything that I'm doing right now and go do it. Same thing for VCs. I find a lot of people afraid from going and talking to a VC, lest the VC, steals the idea. So in my opinion, you have the vision and you have the passion, and it's really your thing. So talking to people about it is really not going to make that big of a difference, especially if you have something to show and you have something to talk about.
So what's the value of an idea? Does anyone want to comment on this for a final few words on the value of an idea instead of a product?
I mean, just to be dramatic, to make a point, ideas are worthless. Really, I mean, so many people come up with ideas all the time. It's about how you execute them. It's about perfecting execution and preserving your cash flow. This is what it takes. I mean, think of it. You think the only thing that's going to make your idea succeed is the fact that you did not share it? No, it's about you've been able to execute it. The manual for doing businesses and creating things is just, it's all over the internet. There are really no secrets almost anymore. It's just how you can execute, how you can go to market. Instead of taking 2 months to build a product, it takes you 2 weeks, and you listen to your customers. I guess I should shut up. All right. So this is it.
Do we have time for 10 seconds? Okay, I completely agree with Omar and Mardini. Ideas are worth nothing. You know why? Because at the end of the day, even when you launch your idea, somebody's going to see it. And if they're faster than you, they're going to beat you even if they're second to market. And I mean, generally, I know so many people who have unbelievable, brilliant ideas, but at the end of the day, I mean, if it's here, it's not going anywhere.
Final few words from Wael. Mardini talked enough.
Okay. Well, basically, I'm gonna agree with the rest of the guys. For me, I always, بشبه ideas with farts. Just a fart. You keep farting ideas all the way long. It just like this, you know. The most important thing is that you do it. You know, you do it. Okay, if you don't do it, it's worth nothing. Okay, this is basically my metaphor. Sorry for.
Okay, I think the message was very clear.
I'm glad you said that after lunch.
So unfortunately, we can't take more questions because we have, as you know, packed agenda. Maybe those guys will be available for some questions and around, you know, the chill out area, demo pods if they're free. Maybe there'll be, no, it's done, can't talk. You have your session afterwards. So I hope you enjoyed it. That, you know, gave you some inspiration, some motivation to get started, do something, right? So please thank them for having taken the trouble to come here.